The Bible says that an unmarried Christian can be concerned about the things of the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But what does this look like in real life? Join me for today's edition of Fruitful Single. All right, so my guest today is Doug Atha.
Atha.
Okay, let's try that again. My guest today is Doug Atha. And Doug, what ways have you found to minister for the Lord?
Probably because I wasn't a Christian most of my life, and the hunger I've got and the wonderfulness that God has shown me the last 13 or so years has been absolutely gratifying. I want to share the fun I've had in this last 13 years in comparison to the fun I had in my first 60. I try my best to recruit, and I talk to people that got God, and I swing it into the conversation. I get non-Christians, I ask them, please don't get mad at me. But you go to church, they never get mad at me. A guy I talked to in Flagstaff for 2.5 hours, he had 40 acres and horses. I had 1.5 acres and mules, and he had an ex-wife, and me too. And we sat there and talked for 2.5 hours. He's not a Christian, and he's 3 years older than I am. He said, I've never met anybody like you. I said, no, there isn't anyone like me. I said, God made me exactly the way I am. And I said, you don't want two of us. Another guy walked by in the grocery store. He had a Navy baseball cap and a Vietnam vet. Hey, Swabby. And we got to talking, and again, you go to church? Yeah, I go to church. He told me which one, and we sat there and we talked for close to 3 hours. In front of the milk cooler. And he said, I gotta go. And I said, I just smiled. Okay. I had to go back to town the next day. I didn't get my chores done. But I smiled going home, and I smiled going back. God has filled me with a wonderfulness that I need to share. And I don't know how to get those feelings out of me into them. The enjoyment of just talking about God and the life of Jesus, and the funness of this last 13 years is, there is no money, there is no material thing in this world combined that is worth as much as my life's message.
How long ago did your wife leave you?
2.5 years. A little bit longer than that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you move from wanting other people to minister to you to being able to get your eyes back on serving the Lord and serving other people around you?
My faith is real, and it's strong. And I know that was my biggest salvation. But without my Christian family, I'd still be in that padded cell.
How did they minister to you in a way that helped you?
A lot of them just hugged on me, and some of the stuff that the information that Sherry left behind wasn't good. But these people the congregation shows genuine love that God has taught them. And that's a wonderful thing. That there was times at home I'd just be talking to myself and asking, help me, Paul. Help me, Paul. And he would show me my congregation. He'd put them right in my lap, and they'll one particular deal, he at 1:30 in the morning was doing a study on the Jesus Code by O.S. Hopkins. I'm saying, God, help me, Paul. He said, sit down and read chapter 40 in the Jesus Code. And he put me into Isaiah 61:3. People need to read that, and read it with intent. Don't just read it because anybody could read a novel. And man, I got a God that you couldn't believe. I was walking through my house around and around and saying, God, please help me understand. Help me, Paul. If I did, whatever I did wrong, don't let me do it again. Let me find out what I did. I didn't get to bed until 3 o'clock that morning. And I had to be at church at 7. And my day was wonderful. I just rushed through that thing. So my congregation and other churches people that is at the church that I've known for years, they were always there for me. When I told them what happened, they'd call me up. Hey, Doug, just was saying, how you doing? We might talk 5 words, might talk 5 minutes, might talk an hour. But they helped. Jesus wasn't the only one that kept me, the only footsteps in the sand. The carrier, my congregation of Christian friends, helped. There isn't words that I can express and have people understand that, and they still do. They know that my loss, even after 2.5 years, the legal part and all the paperwork and stuff is over. But I'm not done. So.
I know a lot of your schedule is unstructured, but you have a few, like you have your church service on Sunday morning. What other kind of things do you have every week that happen?
I went through this earlier this year. Calculated my time at doing church because I like it, and this is my whole life now. I go to church on Sunday morning, Sunday evening, Monday evening we have a dinner and Bible study at our deacon's house, and then Tuesday morning we're here at the church praying for our congregation. I've been doing this for about 5-6 years, and then since I've been associated with the prayer group with the Easter program, we started out 7 churches, ended up with 8 churches, and we go to the gazebo at 5:30 every Tuesday evening. And we pray for the presidents, we pray for our local people, and then Wednesday have the deacon meetings, and then we have a Bible study after that. So I'm here for about 3 hours on Wednesday. And then Thursday we have family night. We have dinner, which is fun because I can cook. There's no wonderful, I don't bake. I can cook a pot roast to die for. The gravy's good and stuff. Pork roast, turkey, ham, and cook that and people come in. And I cook a lot. I don't want them to sit there and say, well, I have to take just a little bit. I want them to fill their plate. And then when there's leftovers, they can take them home. Now, I've done this year 4. Next year I will do more. Bring in my cast iron cookware and kind of show that off. And I do good. Then we have a Bible study, so that's from 5:30 until about 8. And Friday and Saturday is the only time I get to run amok and worry about stepping into the sinful world. And which is easy because I don't even know what that's like anymore.
It has no pleasure compared to Christ, does it?
I know.
Yeah. Tell me about your popcorn ministry. How'd you get going in that?
I had a popcorn machine in my antique shop, and I gave popcorn away. I brought it into the church work, Vacation Bible School. I'm the hero. I give popcorn. Now the others preach about Jesus and stuff like that, but I'm the winner because I got popcorn for these kids. But I give around 18 bags, and they were about 5/8 to 3/4 full of grocery bag popcorn, about 18 bags a week. I give it to hospice, all the thrift stores, Old Town Mission and stuff, those that are helping people.
Do you ever have to say no to some activities because you're too busy with more important things? And if so, how do you decide which things to focus your time on?
I say no to stuff my work I get done at home, or don't get done.
Yeah, okay.
Because of my study is, when I sit down and study, and it's like, see, when I was in grade school, I made the best grades in the whole world at recess. Now I make the best grades in the whole world at Bible study. A 2-hour study day short. I love to study. My stuff getting done at home isn't. Because I go on my way to a project, and there's my study. I sit down and study. It's fun, but sometimes it gets to be difficult because they use words that I don't know what they are, and then they're not in the dictionary, and I don't know how to pull them on my smartphone, and I have to wait until I can find somebody and say, what does this mean? One of my accomplishments in my study is I took the New Testament survey college class, and I did well. I was hoping for a C, which I got. I didn't do well in school because I didn't care. A little bit of bragging that I had to write an essay, and I spent hours weeks on that essay. I had 11 Bibles on the table, 4 Bibles on my bed, and study. And I wrote on Ephesians. There was 3 people that got the top numbers in that class. My deacon got a 98, my wife got a 98, and I got a 95.
Wow, that's great.
So, when I study, that's I don't study that hard because I have to pass a test. I study hard because tomorrow I might be able to bring somebody to church. And my prayer group with the Easter program this last year and a half, 2 years, has opened doors for me in knowledge, in understanding prayer. I had a good understanding, but now it's just phenomenal because through their different mannerisms and the stuff they're doing, I'm learning. This is what I like about my walk. I asked you to pray when I asked you to collect the money for the services, and you're afraid to. I know that fear. I had it. Now, you ask me to pray in front of 1,000 atheists, I'll stand up on the podium. I'll stand up on the water fountain, and I'll pray for every one of them. Because it is strong, and God hears me. Mm-hmm. My mom prayed for me for 60 years. 60. There was a person at my church that I prayed for 6 years to keep me from hitting him. He had me so mad every time I walked by, and he would be within inches, and I'd have to force myself not to hit him. Every day I prayed for him. 6 years. God answered. That's a long time. But then I look at my mom. She prayed for me for 60. One of our widow ladies died. Her name was Mona. Well, on a Friday before Thanksgiving, she had a rollover accident. And I went to see her on Monday. Being a deacon and stuff, you go and you're supposed to be the mighty oak tree. And you're okay, I'm going to pray for you and stuff. I'm a weeping willow. And it took me 3 times to say, God, I couldn't get it. I was choking up. So the next Wednesday, I had to go to Flagstaff up there for a VA thing, and I was going to go see her. Well, I got with the hours that they said, you can't go now and stuff. I said, well, the next day, I got home. 2 messages. Mona had died at 2:30 that morning. I answered your prayer. I healed her. And she has no more pain. She was with Jesus, and there was no more pain, and there was no more sorrow. There was nothing but beauty. And been able to sit and talk with God. And then I told this to one of our gals at church Sunday. And says, yeah. And she got there in time for Thanksgiving. I got another rush. I'm going, this is wonderful. These are the kinds of experiences that I want to take in my evangelistic walk. To people, to have them pick up the same feeling. That they can have fun without having anything. They can have love without having somebody. They can have a wonderfulness that is not given by man. And when you get that gift from God, share it. You're not big enough to hold all the love God can give you. So you got to dish it out. You got to get rid of that love that God gives you. Because there's more coming.
Did you notice how important Doug's relationship with his church is? It's both a venue for him to minister to others and a source of ministry to him. Nobody, including a single Christian, was made to live in isolation. Psalm 68:6 says, God places the lonely in families. And for Doug, his church is that family. Now, I know enough about Doug's church to tell you that the people there are far from perfect. It's not a big church, but it's a key part of Doug's fruitfulness for the Lord. I'd love to hear your story of how God has used your church to help you be a fruitful single. Or if you're having trouble finding a church, maybe we can help you. You can write me, daniel@fruitfulsingle.com. Or maybe you'd like me to pass on a message to Doug for you, or maybe you know somebody else I should interview. For any of those reasons or any others, I'd love to hear from you. Again, my email address is daniel@fruitfulsingle.com. If you'd like to listen to previous episodes or apply for the $1,000 Fruitful Single Missions Travel Scholarship, you can do that at fruitfulsingle.com. Until next time, may Jesus bless you with fruitfulness, and remember, don't waste your singleness because the Lamb's wedding is coming soon.